Hello there, Scorpio, and welcome to your October forecast. I hope that this month is really getting off to a great start for you. And if you've never been here before, just a reminder that you can use this for your sun, your rising, and your moon. If you don't know all three, don't worry, you can just stick with your birth sign. I'd like to start off with a little bit of gratitude for everybody. I really appreciate all of your support. In fact, we're almost close to a milestone here on the channel where I nearly have 100,000 subscribers. So whether you're brand new or you've been following me for a long time, I want to say thank you. And as an extension of that gratitude, I'll be doing a live feed when I hit that subscriber milestone. So more to come, keep an eye on the channel, and I'll let you know what's in store for that. Also, one more thing, if you would like to support this channel, a great way to do that is to join me on Patreon. I'm going to put some information here at the bottom. You can either donate through Patreon or through my website. All I ask is $1, and that goes towards making all 12 videos every month. Without any further delay, let's go ahead and get into your forecast for this month. I like to begin everything with some channeled information. For me, the process of channeling takes place when I select a deck of cards, I meditate on your sign, and then I see what comes through. The first thing that I saw was the image of lightning striking, and whenever I see that, there's a sort of a timeliness that is attached to it. You know the old saying that lightning doesn't usually strike in the same place twice. So basically you want to be aware, awake, and willing to act upon this inspiration when it comes through. If you do that, you're going to have that ability to sort of activate that lightning speed or that lightning that I saw, which is something that can inspire others and also move you along your path at a speed that you may not otherwise be able to achieve. All right, let's take a look now at the cards and see what additional insights they have to yield for this month. Quick note that as I pull the Celtic Cross, I'm going to be quiet. I just want to look at all the cards, their arrangements, and also receive messages just like you will. After that, we'll talk, and then I'll expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Now, in addition to everything that's in front of me, I pull one more card. This to me is the catalyst. It helps highlight some of the major messages or opportunities of the month and also helps you avoid any sort of potential pitfalls. Your catalyst this month is, we have Isis in reverse here. And so when I see this card, it really speaks to the ability to manage changes going on in your life. I see Isis as a goddess of death and rebirth, also sort of like one of the first empress figures that you would probably see in mythology. And so you really want to focus on your ability to be in control of a situation. She's holding the Ankh, a symbol of power, and with the reversal of this, there could be some dynamics this month that are bringing your power or your perception of being in charge in question. And so this is your chance to try to make sure that that is established from the beginning of the month. So let's look at each card one by one, and I think we can get to the bottom of that as well as see some other things that can come through. All right, your central card is the Chariot, and in this deck it's the Archer, but same card, same meaning. But what's interesting about this illustration of the Chariot is it's a very targeted movement in a certain direction here. And so for you, you really want to focus on what's your main purpose this month? What do you want to put your time and energy into? If you get distracted and you're sort of spread across many different activities or responsibilities or commitments, something's probably going to fall by the wayside. We have the Devil card, reimagined here as the Guardian, right on top of that. And it's interesting because when you look at this, you think death, but it's not. This is the Devil in this deck, and it's coming from the shadows. So for me, when I'm looking at this, the shadows indicate unknown or things that people are afraid to face. So what you want to take control of this month, and you really want to embrace, is anything that somebody has sort of swept under the rug, yourself included. So maybe for some of you, this could be your finances. It could also be some sort of an agreement that you made a long time ago and you realize, oh my gosh, I'm overdue, it's time for me to actually finish up on this. The devil is here to remind you that this is something that's kind of hanging. So the sooner you address it, the sooner the shadow dissipates and you've got a clear path. And that's why the guardian's there, it's a block. And so the block for you is, okay, I'm going to face this head on, I'm going to take control of it, I'm going to, if there's any sort of conflict, I'm not going to recede, I'm also not going to like fight fire with fire, I'm going to hold my own, we're going to figure it out, and we're going to move past this. That's kind of the attitude that you want to take with any challenges that present themselves at the beginning of the month. As I look at what's affecting this and also kind of coming from the recent past here, we have the wheel. Actually, this is your deep past. So the Wheel of Fortune is about changes in your money, changes in your job, and also such a large life change that you might decide that it's time to possibly let go of something to move on. And that's why we have the Devil card there that is telling you it's time to release a pattern that you've known for a while isn't suiting you. So if you've been trying to, get healthier, maybe stop drinking, smoking, doing something else in your life, or there's been a person in your life that you feel is impeding your ability to move forward, blocking you, just like this Devil card here, it's time to move on. This could be a partner that you're married to, a business partner that you work with, or it could be someone else in your life that you feel somehow beholden to. This is your chance to take back your power in that situation. As we look at what's affecting probably the first week of the month for many of you, we have the Seven of Wands here. And the great thing about the Seven of Wands is it shows a busyness. This card was reversed though, so for what I'm seeing for many of you is possibly having one too many things on your plate. And I mentioned earlier that this could get you in trouble. So this is a great time to delegate. It's not always the most enjoyable thing to do because sometimes there's a perception that maybe that there's not enough strength of character or of skill, and that's why you're letting go. But if you look at good leaders, they're not the ones that try to do everything. They pick and choose what's important. They especially choose good leaders, and a strong leader is a leader of leaders, and they trust people to take those tasks and they don't micromanage. So whether or not you're a manager or just a parent or just someone that's independent that's trying to get the help that you need, know that it's okay to say, this is something that I need you to look at, or I'm busy with this and this, please have someone else take a look at this. So better to do that than to say, yeah, I'll figure it out, and then you're working like a 70-hour work week and there's no way that you can finish it. Proactive communication, saying when it's too much, and then you should be in good shape if you do those two things. We have the Six of Swords in the crowning position. So for some of you, there's a chance for travel. For others, there might be a dissolving of a relationship, especially with the Devil at the center and the Six of Swords in the crowning position. And I think for those of you that are seeing someone leave, or maybe you're leaving, it's for the better. Because as I look at all of those signs and symbols around the center cards, this looks like it's a positive change. The other thing that's kind of cool, but we don't always see with the Six of Swords, is a chance to explore. And so if you find yourself at this new avenue, maybe you've decided to leave a job, or maybe someone's left you and you need to find a job because now you need more income or whatever it is, try to embrace the side of it where now you can do something different and it can be more your choice. Again, trying to regain power, regain a feeling of control, and going back to what I got when I was channeling information for you at the beginning, which was really to allow others to be inspired by you, to kind of stand out of the crowd, because that can be that sort of lightning bolt moment that we see where other people take notice of you. And if you've ever kind of looked at a lightning storm, it's interesting how for a minute you see the world differently, right? It's almost like you have that reverse image in your mind for a moment and it sticks with you. Remember that as you take your power back this month, you have that ability to inspire others and kind of galvanize them behind your own vision. But it's important for you to be able to help them see that, and that's one of the chances you have this month. And maybe that's one of the reasons you need to step away from certain situations. So again, you can be back in a position where you're actually leading the fold. As we look at the near future, we have the King of Swords and it's in reverse. So there's an emphasis on clear communication. And with this, you also want to avoid anybody's sort of gossip, or if someone else is coming across as too critical, this is a time for you to tune it out. Lead by example, and also if someone's trying to get at you or get under your skin, you want to rise above that and just kind of tune it out. As I'm looking at your environment card, actually we'll start with your ego card first. We have the King of Pentacles, and it's in reverse. So some of you may be focusing on yourself this month. I've seen this in a couple of signs. It's interesting that this one is actually indicated by a wolf, because when I see it in reverse, I think of a lone wolf. It's someone who's spending a lot of time maybe reading, researching, or looking at financial sort of specifics and details. And so there's a little bit of isolation with you this month, where I think you're going to maybe be pulling back from circles of friends. And that's okay, especially if you're trying to get a firmer understanding of what it is you need to do for the month ahead. As we're looking at your environment card here, we have the Knight of Cups, and it's reverse. So I want you to be mindful of your emotional energy this month, as well as others, because the areas now that seem, we had a lot of upright cards, but the ones that are reversed are with communication, are with resources, and with emotions. So these are your central areas that you really want to focus on getting control of, and that might be why you're pulling in a little bit this month. And there's, again, nothing bad about that. In fact, I think there's an advantage to it, because all of those areas are important. And if you're going to work with a larger team, or again, try to get other people behind you, you have to know what's going on in those areas. And for those of you that are single or not really focusing a lot on work, what I see with this is we can kind of put it into a broader lens. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Spend some time and energy on personal development, but not to the point that you cut off important alliances, because that lone wolf card can indicate that you're spending way too much time by yourself. So you want to, at a certain point, come back out and be with the real world. And then when we're looking at the environment, try not to get involved in other people's drama. Because the main thing that I see when I look at the Knight of Vessels here, is it's tricky. We have this eel here kind of slithering along. So it's a slippery slope if people pull you into their drama. Try to focus on yourself, be clear, and put limits up when it's appropriate. As I look at hopes, fears, opportunities this month, we have the Five of Swords. Five of Swords is kind of tricky, because what can happen here is sometimes you end up second guessing yourself. You might also find yourself sort of in the crossfire, as we see here, or in the middle of a sort of contentious or difficult situation. When and if this happens, all that time that you have spent sort of researching, grounding yourself in the facts, this is when you want to kind of rely on those facts. Whether it's an argument with friends, with family, or with coworkers, try not to take it to the emotional. Try to stay neutral. Try to mirror back what they're saying, and also remind them of what was agreed to before. With the Devil at the center, there could be someone who is trying to get out of something. Or you might learn something secondhand, and you might have to approach someone, and this is when it can be a difficult situation. Keep it on a nice level playing field, and don't let their emotions or your emotions sort of get in the way of finding the truth. And I think that's really what's most important. On the bright side, as we look at the end, you have two different cards with the number 6. In the crowning position, it's the Six of Swords, which is distance, exploration, sometimes leaving or dissolving something. And then with the Six of Wands, this is actually about the ability to come out in a good light. So whatever you're trying to go through this month, we have an actually really beneficial outcome card, which is showing me that yes, there was something difficult. You've taken the space, the time, the energy to understand it. You may even confront someone with it. And at the end, it looks like you can come out with grace, with dignity, and hopefully with more understanding. This is a card of support, and if you read the title on it, also abundance. So I feel like you're going to end the month in a much, much better place than you've started it. And also, when I'm looking at what's on your plate, you've moved from this card of somewhat being overwhelmed but still carrying the load, to having the whole team kind of with you and feeling like it's not all you. And so that's a good thing. And when I say team, again, it could be your family, it could be your friends, but you're not alone. And it feels like there's much more support when you end the month, and that's a good thing. Let's go ahead now and expand the forecast. We'll look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And then after we have those additional areas to inform what I've just read, I will summarize and integrate all the information. So stick around until the end. We'll start off first with the health card. Health is mind, body, and spirit. And let's take a look and see what the primary message is for health. So we have creation here. This is a chance for you to start something new or start from something from scratch this month. And it may very much end up being something that you create on your own. But I think that this is a really good card if you've been kind of playing around with the idea of maybe a new workout routine, a new diet, a new way of dealing with some sort of disability or something that you want to improve. So allow for something to start as a positive habit this month and then make this a new part of your life or a new part of your being. Let's take a look now at your wealth card, knowing that wealth is not just money, but it's also opportunities, self-worth, and also how open you are to the abundance in your life. Your message for wealth this month is having to do with the second chakra, which for me is creativity. Well, really for everyone. The first chakra is safety and support and security. Can sometimes be fear, but the second one is associated with the sexual chakra, but also creativity and creation. So this is a month where it's not accidental that you can create new things within your health arena, but you can also do this within your money. So if there's an idea for you to kind of launch a new product or create your own business, or you're at a business and you want to talk about some sort of an idea for how it could be improved, or you're looking at your finances and thinking, hey, I want to try this. Maybe I want to invest in a property, or I want to shift this investment to another. This is a month to try new things, to create something that didn't exist before and either monetize it or maximize your investment in it. So good month for shifting, a good month for new beginnings, both in health and in wealth. Let's take a look now at love, knowing that love is not just romantic relationships, but it can also include any sort of intimate communication between friends, family, coworkers. Your message for love this month is grace and gratitude. So this card came through reverse, but I want to pull it upright so you can read the caption here. It says, through gratitude, joy expands. And again, this was grace and gratitude. The important thing on this is that you have the power this month to transform not just your relationship, but potentially people too. I don't know if you've ever kind of had an experiment in your life where you've tried mirroring back, like kind of fighting fire with fire, and you notice how it just goes back and forth and you argue and you just feel angry and nothing happens. Or if you've sort of taken a different road where you either don't react or you empathize and say, I understand you're upset and let's do something about it. All of a sudden the person kind of shuts down because they're not really expecting friendliness or receptivity. You can say, I have some opinions too, but I want to hear you. We'll talk it through. We're going to find a way to fix this. I'm not worried. I believe we can make this work. Wow, that's so much easier than someone saying, shut up, or trying to shut you down somehow. Those words, even like shut up, it has a way of like, it closes them off, it closes you off. So try to open up. It's kind of the reverse of what we want to do when someone is maybe difficult to be around. But what you can do is say, it's clear that you're upset. Let's talk tomorrow. Let's put time on the calendar. I think we both need time to figure out what to do and what we need to say. So let's put it down in words and then we'll talk when we're settled down. But you can find a lot of ways around it, but try to diffuse, try to redirect, and this is the grace part of it, and then say, I'm so happy that you brought this up to me. I can tell this is how you can use gratitude in every day. So if it's a conflict resolution, you can say, I'm glad you brought it to my attention. We need to take care of it. Let's take care of it, and then set a time and a follow-up. Now, let's take out conflict. There's just proactive communications, and that's also the grace and gratitude component of this, which is it's good to express thanks when you don't need something and mean it, not just as a sort of ploy because maybe you'll need something in the future. Pay attention, like look around your life, and has someone always done something for you? Maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your husband, maybe it's your wife, maybe it's someone who you forgot to thank when they were living, but now you realize it. I want you to speak to that person, whether it's live or, again, you can still pray to someone if they're no longer in a corporeal form, but just say, thank you so much. It means like what you've done for me, what you do for me, it has created such joy in my life, and I'm so sorry I don't say it more often. I really appreciate you. It's easy. So make time today, that's why you're tuning into this, to just say something nice to someone and mean it, and don't have an ulterior motive. Just see what it does. They're going to be taken off guard, and see how they react to you over the course of the next week or month or whatever, and try it more frequently with them and with other people. Just say something that you mean, make it nice, make it about something that they've done that you appreciate. Really feel it in the heart. Don't just say it because you're trying to get something. Say it because it's true. If someone always makes your favorite meal, say, oh my God, no one makes it like this, you just made my day. That's gonna make their day. They were hoping for something maybe, but you're just giving this because you feel it. Okay, anyway. Let's take a look now at your destiny card. Destiny is something that's malleable in this spread anyway. It's showing your GPS, and you can decide, yeah, I wanna stay on this path, or maybe I wanna course correct. Your destiny card this month is Sununos, which is a card here that symbolizes life force. But if you look at the caption beneath it, it says, express your driving passion, sensual and sexual powers are increased. If you remember, this was actually showing up in your wealth sector. And in a couple of decks that I have, this also comes through for the Devil card. And interesting, I mean, it makes sense because a lot of times sexuality and sensuality are things that we sort of push under the rug and don't deal with. So you really want to deal with those themes this month, allow those to be healed, and realize that it's actually a creative energy that you can harness and decide what to do with. And I think for some of you, if you can allow for a clearing, a cleansing, and a sort of understanding to come through in that second chakra, everything starts to clear up. And you regain, that's really where a lot of that creative power and passion comes from. So you could decide to redirect it, maybe from relationships to work, or vice versa. Maybe you've been working and you're missing love. There's a way that you can find balance in that. There's something that's a little bit off with the second chakra. So don't be afraid to kind of take a look at that and see what you want to do with balancing out that energy. Let's go ahead now and take a look at all of the cards, starting with your catalyst this month. We had the Isis card. It was reversed. To me, this really speaks to regaining your power, but there's also a natural sort of magic that comes with this. She really was the first high priestess that you would see, or magician, in any sort of deck. So with this, I'm seeing that you can create something even if you haven't been given what you need. She was able to bring life into something that didn't exist, or that had already died. So know that you can do the same. You have this sort of power to get a second chance or create something this month. As we look at your central cards here, it's really asking you to take control of something, because the Archer in this deck symbolizes the Chariot. We have the Devil on top of this. I talked a little bit about the correlation between the second chakra, the Devil, and this Life Force card here. So I really think you want to pay attention to how you want to use your creative energy this month. Definitely a message is coming through in that respect. The other thing here that we're looking at is, for many of you, it's time to change what you're doing for a living or your relationship with money, because that's what the wheel can symbolize. And it feels like this has been something that you've wanted to shift for a while or change for a while. So honor that if that's the case for you. 7 of Wands in reverse, which is showing that you're capable of managing a lot in your life, but it would be better if you could share that with other people. Make sure that there's room for everyone to shine, and also, again, allowing for your own creative energies to go somewhere else. Some of you may simply be in a relationship that's breaking down. We have a crowning card here that's showing distance and separation. And for those of you that have someone in your life who's represented by the Devil, they could be, you could be learning a truth about them that they weren't ready to reveal. And this is a time when you decide to move on and put that energy back into your own life. Don't be afraid to be direct this month. Try to be constructive if you are critical, though. That's the one thing that you want to be careful of with the King of Arrows here. As I looked at the King of Stones, or the King of Pentacles, there is a little sense of hermit energy with this. That's okay if you need to sort of put some of the healing energy and also developmental energy back on yourself. Honor that if that feels good. Try, however, not to get too deep in your own emotions or in others this month. It's a slippery path, as we saw here, and it can take you off your own path as well. There's a great opportunity that you'll either have to confront someone over something that you've learned, or you might be put in the hot seat this month. Try to keep it in a place where you're focusing more on information, less on emotion. And know that whatever you're trying to resolve, it looks like by the end of the month, you actually have the love and the support of people around you, and you're in a better place when it comes to how much energy you're affording different parts of your life. So I'll commend you on that in advance. Keep sticking with it. It looks like you're going to figure that out. Let's look piece by piece at your expanded forecast. This is a time to create new and better habits within your health arena this month. In particular, when we look at wealth, I still think there's a connection here between health and wealth in the second chakra, and that's the sexual chakras. So some of you that might be feeling a sense of not being empowered, not being creative, pay attention and see, are there some issues that are showing up within the second chakra, within your intestines, within the bladder, within some of the reproductive organs, and see if you can start to, regain the power if some of those symptoms don't improve. Of course, you can't just do that alone, but it is probably something that could be feeding into that. So that's why it's showing up in the health area, and that's why these two are definitely connected. There were too many that were coming in as the second chakra, like creation, second chakra, and then this other one, which was all about sensuality and passion. So I see for your sign that it's really important this month to open up that second chakra. And I know just in general, Scorpio is very expressive. So if you shut down in that area, or if there's an issue with something going on there, then clearly that's something you need to heal. Just touching, because we already talked about the destiny, touching briefly on love, the important thing is to set a good example. To open up your heart, open up other people's heart, always go to a place of higher frequency, even if they're incapable of it. In doing so, you have the ability to actually transform them and transform your relationship. Remembering that it's so much more powerful to say thank you and I love you when you're not expected to. So do that unconditionally, no strings, no expectations. Just say, you're awesome, and see what people think when you say that. Be a little more articulate than that, but that's the crux of it. You just want to say, I really appreciate you. You did a great job on this. That's it. And this can really change everything in your life, and you're going to get more love back at you too. When you're pleasant, people tend to be pleasant back. When you're angry and withdrawn, they don't know what to do with that. So just play around with your energy and how you're projecting it, and I think you're going to have some very positive reactions to that. So that wraps up your monthly forecast. I think this month, the really big opportunity for you is power and expression. That's what that second chakra is. Whether it's sexuality or creativity, this is where you can regain it, and you should have fun in that arena and do what feels right. That's what's going to heal you this month. If you ever want to talk a little bit more about a big decision or something else that's going on in your life, take a look below the video and you'll notice that I have 3 links. The first will allow you to check out rates and availability, and I'd be happy to chat with you if that makes sense to you. If you'd like to just say thank you and you would want to support this channel, the second link, as I said at the beginning, will allow you to connect with either Patreon or PayPal, and you can give me something as little as $1. Makes a big difference because each of these videos I put anywhere between 2 to 4 hours into them, sometimes more, depending on production and my schedule. So I know it's only like half an hour, but there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, so know that it makes a big difference for me. And I also have to kind of make sure that I take enough days off to do this. So just know that you're really supporting this and the production that you see here. If you would like to join me on social media, I would love that as well. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, of course here, and I have a newsletter. So the third link will be a great way to connect to all of that just by clicking on that page, and then everything is there. So feel free to do that if you'd like to. And now my favorite part, I just like to say, first of all, thank you for continuing to be diligent about working and also healing yourself. That's why I'm here every month. This month I've been using a visual cue to kind of like sum it up. If we look at this crystal, which was given to me as a gift, I really love it, in fact, actually. What I love about it is when you look at a crystal that's kind of like this, whether it's quartz or a diamond or whatever, a lot of time, heat, and years have passed to make it as beautiful as it looks right now. And we're kind of like this crystal. Each lifetime, we're learning a little bit more, we're clarifying, we're figuring things out. And the reason that we come here each month is to get a little bit clearer on who we are, what we're trying to do, and why people are in our lives. So I want you to keep getting clear, keep sharing this clarity with others, and hopefully inspiring everybody to look more like this at the end of this experience, this human experience. So shine brightly. Remember to take advantage of the opportunities that come through this month. And I wish you all the best now and always. See you again real soon. Thank you.